Hello and welcome to History of Dragon Ball. Today we are starting a new recap series. So today we are starting a new recap series where I will be working my way through all of Dragon Ball, Z, GT, and Super, giving you a quick recap of each saga as they were released. Now, these may end up being individual sagas or perhaps a collective group of some depending on how they work out time-wise, but hopefully all of that will make sense to you in time. So let's just jump straight into it and head back to the beginning of it all with a small boy named Son Goku who is no normal boy, and that is not even taking into consideration the fact that he has a tail. So let's start off this series today with a recap of the Emperor Pilaf Saga, which was originally known as the Saga of Goku. We start everything off in the mountains, where we see a young monkey-tailed boy named Goku. When we meet him, he has just finished his daily chores when he notices that his late adoptive grandpa's orb was glowing, which of course is the 4-star Dragon Ball. Later, with a giant fish in hand, he gets hit by a car, and this car is driven by a young teenage girl whose name is Bulma. Goku initially believes the car to be a monster, but soon notices this girl. Bulma goes with Goku to his house to eat lunch with him, and Bulma sees that he has the Dragon Ball, which is what she was out looking for. Goku will not give it to her though, and she goes on to reveal the legend of the dragon known as Shenron, and so Goku decides to join Bulma on her quest to acquire the 7 mystical balls. The two later camp, and it is here that Goku is first introduced to technology and was given a bath when Bulma sets up her capsule house. The next morning, Goku ends up meeting a sea turtle outside of the house while he is waiting for Bulma to get ready, and then the two decide to postpone their quest to help this sea turtle. While on this side quest, Goku defeats a bear thief, showing off some of his unnatural abilities. Eventually they come to the ocean and the turtle gets brought back to its master, the Turtle Hermit, who we later learn is known as Master Roshi, who in fact has one of the other Dragon Balls in his possession. Being thankful for the help, Roshi gives Goku the Flying Nimbus, a flying yellow cloud that can be used as transport by those with a pure heart. Roshi also gives Bulma his Dragon Ball in exchange for showing the old master her underwear. The next stage of their journey begins, and after 3 days Goku and Bulma end up in Aru Village, where they get mistaken for a shapeshifter called Oolong. This creature has been kidnapping the daughters of the villagers. When Bulma learned that Grandma Paozu, an old lady in the village, had a Dragon Ball, she cuts a deal. She and Goku would recover the missing girls in exchange for that Dragon Ball. Bulma forces Goku to disguise himself as Oolong's next target so that they can find out where he takes the girls. But this plan fails, as Goku decides instead to battle Oolong and capture him. Oolong is then forced to reveal his true form, a talking pig. Knowing he is beat, he returns the girls to their families, and Bulma receives the Dragon Ball for fulfilling her end of the bargain. From here, Bulma forces Oolong to join them, believing that his shapeshifting ability could prove useful. Oolong objects, but Bulma had given him a special vitamin that induces a sudden and urgent need to go to the toilet whenever he hears the word piggy. The group encounter a problem next though, as Bulma loses her dino caps along with all of her vehicles, and so they have no choice but to walk. And after a couple of miles they end up in the Diablo Desert, where Bulma passes out in the heat. While Bulma is out cold, a desert bandit named Yamcha and his sidekick Puar, who in fact was a former acquaintance of Oolong, ambush Goku and Oolong to try and rob them. Goku of course fights back, using his power pole, revealing to Yamcha that Goku is the grandson of a legendary martial artist named Gohan. Yamcha uses his signature move called the Wolf Fang Fist to knock Goku into rocks, trapping him under rubble. Just before Oolong gives up his capsule, Goku comes back with the little bit of energy he has left and sends Yamcha in a rage, which is then stopped when Bulma wakes up, as Yamcha is scared of her. It turns out Yamcha is in fact scared of women. Later that same night in Oolong's house wagon, Bulma is taking a shower when Yamcha and Puar return to spy on them. Yamcha sees Bulma naked and then goes to the other window and hears Goku tell Oolong about the Dragon Balls. From this information, Yamcha decides his new mission is to get the Dragon Balls instead of robbing the gang. When Bulma and Goku fall asleep from Oolong's special juice, Oolong is interrupted when trying to search the room Bulma is sleeping in. Puar is disguised as Goku and ends up luring Oolong, who is disguised as Bulma, out of the trailer for Yamcha to go and steal the balls. Yamcha ends up failing when he sees Bulma completely naked. The next morning, Bulma is not happy to discover that the only clothes she has that fit her is a bunny costume. Yamcha is back again before long though, as he shoots down the house wagon with a bazooka and knocks Bulma out. Goku ends up having a rematch with Yamcha and knocks out his tooth in the fight. Yamcha then surrenders and comes up with a different idea and decides to let them collect the Dragon Balls, and comes up with a different idea to let them collect all of the Dragon Balls and then steal them as one group, and so he gives them a car with a tracker. The gang now set off again, and after travelling a while they end up at Fire Mountain, which is the site for their 6th Dragon Ball. Oolong was scared of the legends of the Ox King from here, as he knew he would kill them. However, Bulma forces Oolong to come with them anyway to go find the ball. Goku flies to the top on the flying Nimbus, but the heat is too much for him. When he gets down to tell Bulma, the Ox King appears and begins to fight Goku. At first the Ox King seemed to be too much for Goku, but when Goku got on the Nimbus and Ox King realizes that there is something about this boy. And so, instead of fighting, he asks Goku to go with his daughter Chi-Chi to get the Bancho fan from Master Roshi, as it should be able to put out the fire. We also learn here that Roshi was in fact both the Ox King and also Goku's grandpa Gohan's old martial arts teacher. When Goku and Chi-Chi arrive at Master Roshi's house, Chi-Chi was not convinced that the old man was really Master Roshi, so she decided to test him by throwing the blade that was atop her helmet straight at Roshi while his back was turned. Roshi tried to deflect the attack with his can, but ended up getting a blow to the head. After Roshi showed his ID to the two, he went on to say that he had thrown out the Bancho fan a long time ago, but agreed to put out the fire himself if he was allowed to touch Bulma's breasts. When they got back to Fire Mountain, Master Roshi revealed his own signature and powerful technique called the Kamehameha Wave. Although he intended to only put out the fire, the move was so powerful that instead he destroyed the entire mountain. Despite this, under the rubble, Bulma finds the 6th Dragon Ball. Goku, on the other hand, was distracted by being amazed by the wave and tried to perform it himself. He is remarkably successful, but as a result, he ends up destroying the car that Yamcha gave them by doing so. This was not too much of a problem in the end though, as the Ox King was so thankful to them for getting rid of the fire that he just gave them his car instead. Now en route to retrieve the final Dragon Ball, Oolong sees that the car is low on gas, so they need to fill it up. While at the closest town, everyone looks in fear of Bulma, who is still in her bunny costume currently. Bulma was able to get free stuff at this time too. When she finally changes, everyone stops being afraid of her though, as they had believed she was a member of the local gang called the Rabbit Mob. Once Bulma meets back up with Oolong and Goku, they see 2 members of this Rabbit Mob bullying the villagers. When they notice Bulma, they started to hit on her, but she rejected them, and so they get mad. And here, Goku comes and defeats the 2 in a matter of seconds. Afterwards, the 2 called their boss over, which then caused the whole town to run in panic. When the boss of the Rabbit Mob, Monster Carrot, shows up, he turns Bulma into a carrot with his handshake. Monster Carrot then threatened Goku to not move, as if he did, then he would eat Bulma, and so allowing the 2 members to beat Goku up. Yamcha and Puar, who were still hiding, decide to step in and help Goku here so that he can defeat Monster Carrot. Puar turns into a bird and steals the carrot, while Goku and Yamcha try to fight Monster Carrot. Puar dropped the carrot when crashing into a mushroom tree, but Goku catches it. Monster Carrot then gets scared by Puar and turns Bulma back to normal. He then is tied up with his 2 minions and taken to the moon, where they were forced to make marshmallow treats for the children. After these events, it is revealed that Goku and Bulma were not the only ones seeking the magical Dragon Balls. A small blue-skinned man named Emperor Pilaf also had the same intentions. He wanted them to wish to become the supreme leader of the entire world. And assisting Pilaf, he had 2 close followers, Shu, a small fox-like man, and Mai, a beautiful foot soldier. Many of Pilaf's attempts to steal the Dragon Balls away from Goku are foiled by the young warrior, causing great embarrassment to the villains. However, he does finally steal all 7 balls from the gang by trapping them in a room and knocking them out with sleeping gas. Without delay, Pilaf rushes to the castle and summons the eternal dragon Shenron, but before he can make his one wish come true, Oolong jumps in at the last moment to steal the wish, and Oolong's wish is nothing more than his own pair of women's undergarments, which would be the most comfortable ones in the world. Once the wish had been completed, the balls rise up into the sky and are separated out once more at random locations all over the planet, also not to be used again until at least a year has passed. Pilaf, enraged, imprisons the heroes in his castle. Later that night, Goku tells the story of his grandfather Gohan to the others, and he tells them of his untimely demise. A great and terrible beast came upon Gohan's shack one night and crushed the old man to death. This was also the night of the full moon. As he finishes the story, Goku witnesses the full moon peeking in through the roof of the cell. This causes a change to Goku. He loses all sense of himself and transforms into a giant, great ape-like monster. This monster immediately proceeds to destroy the castle. However, Pilaf and his minions manage to escape the castle before too late, but the gang must now figure out a way to help Goku return to normal. Puar changes into a pair of scissors and cuts off Goku's tail, and this does the trick, changing the rampaging beast back into a small, innocent boy. When the next morning comes and Goku awakes, he has no memory of what happened the night before, and this confirms to the rest of the gang that it was indeed Goku himself who was responsible for Gohan's tragic death, although they all agree to never tell Goku as the knowledge would undoubtedly crush the boy's soul. Bulma and Yamcha then decide here to become boyfriend and girlfriend as they decide to head back to her hometown of West City. Bulma then gives Goku the Dragon Radar so that, in 1 year's time when the balls are discoverable again, he may go after his grandfather's Dragon Ball. Goku goes his own separate way with the determination to get stronger and train under Master Roshi, just like his grandfather, and so he jumps on the flying Nimbus, waves goodbye to his friends for the first time, and they each go off their separate ways as the first part of our recap comes to an end. So, now that I have finished that first recap, and I hope you did all enjoy this video, but it leads me on to my question for you all today, which is, how do you feel about the original Dragon Ball series? Do you think it is as good, worse or better than Z and Super? I'd be very interested to hear where you rank it in the comment section below. And so, now that we are at the end of the video, I would ask if you are enjoying the content and you want to keep up to date with this recap series as it comes out, then please subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all the great stuff, as it really helps me out grow this channel. And so, if you have managed to reach the very end of this video with me today, I would like to say thank you, and I will see you next time on History of Dragon Ball.